So you got Murph, you got Brooks. Good morning, John.
What's up, Murph? What's up, Rod? Good to be on with you guys, and happy for Marcus that he got another game out of this trip.
He's posted a couple pictures last night. Looked like a great family trip. Was not going to be a great family trip after Freddie Freeman hit another home run again. Man, my God, John, you played the game of baseball. You know how hard it is. How about this guy hitting home runs in 6 straight World Series games?
No, he makes it look easy. It's an unbelievable football player. Robbie Gould lookalike. He's Freddie and Robbie. I always feel like I'm looking at Robbie Gould, but seems like he's a heck of a dude and one heck of a baseball player. That's just murderer's row. That part of that lineup when you go Tani, Betts, and then Freddie Freeman, or if it's the other way around. It's just unreal. So
we'll get to
baseball. That Volpe guy. I don't get to watch a lot of Yankees. I like that Volpe guy.
Yeah, local kid hitting a grand slam from New York. That's pretty cool.
So we'll get to some football, but you're a San Diego guy. Padres all the way, I will assume.
Yeah, we talked about this.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, just making sure. So you don't have any Dodger love in there, do you, John?
No, I despise the Dodgers.
All right.
Other than Freddie Freeman and my guy Dave Roberts.
All right.
Dave Roberts is a San Diegan himself, and I'm only bummed that they didn't hire Dave Roberts years ago. But I do. I love the Padres, always have, and they gave it a good shot this year. They maybe got a little ahead of themselves against the Dodgers, and they shut them up. So
it's always
we
good
had to take our
be around.
medicine. Yeah,
it's always good to be around like-minded companies.
Well, we were talking about like teams we hate a lot, and the Cowboys fit that list there too. So we'll get into that. But before we get into it, I did want to just, and this is, there's like almost no words, but I mean, I know we're going to talk about football, and we're going to talk about beating the Cowboys and talk about the bye week, but just whatever we can say on this radio station and on YouTube feed and Twitch and all that about expressing profound human condolences to Charvarius Ward and his family on the loss of his 1-year-old daughter, Amani Joy. It's just John, we've lived long enough to know this world sometimes is filled with unspeakable tragedy, and to lose her at 1 year old, I have no words other than a profound condolence sending out for you. It's part of your family. I mean, you guys are a family every year, and I don't know if there's something you want to say or express. We just want to send from us to the 49er family and to the Wards just our deepest condolences and just a big a message of love.
Yeah, I thank you. You said it well, Murph. And, it was Monday morning. I took some friends to the airport early, and I got a call on the way back that, that unspeakable tragedy had happened. And we had all kind of lived through this with Mooney because, you go through, and he was so excited to become a first-time dad. And then they had a fear that, hey, you're going to have a baby. It may indeed have Down syndrome. The baby was born with Down syndrome. But Mooney's attitude, his wife's attitude, where they were going to love this little girl, and Joy was the perfect middle name because that's every time he saw her, she just had this giant smile, was always laughing. And Mooney, his perspective as it does when you're a parent changes so much. And Mooney just had such a deep love for this young lady, and I mean our organization is just really shaken for the family. Amani was at the game the night before in the daycare that we have, and it's just the unspeakable deal of going to bed and waking up, and we were able to be around him. But you don't know what to say. You pray, you love, and continue to be there for the Ward family. Mooney is such a good guy, and he was such a good dad that loved being a dad, and her memory will live on, and it's just it's still real fresh and tough. I'm sorry.
You've said it all. I guess the only question would be like, how much did the Niners just give him time now, right? He doesn't need to rush back to the field, right?
He needs to take care of what he needs to take care of, and we're in good communication with Mooney, but that hasn't even come up yet because that's not where we're at. So, it's just pulling for the family that they can find peace and just remember what a joy she was.
Yeah, and families, they understand when a member of the family needs time away for whatever reason, and while you guys clearly not blood, you are family, in I believe the truest sense of the word. And to make the awkward turn to football, however much time Charvarius Ward needs for his family and himself, you guys with the talent that you have in that defensive backfield, it's not optimal not having him around. But you've gotten some good play from youngsters back there in that defensive backfield. So however much time he needs to heal and grieve, again, not that football is important, but it is the job you guys have. You seem to be okay on the back end with guys like Green and obviously what Diamador Lenore has done and other guys who have really stepped up as you've tried to shore up your defensive backfield.
Yeah, I think we came into this season feeling as good about our secondary and our cornerback position in particular, the depth of it, as we have in a while. We're such a team that believes in building up front, that we haven't been bad in the back end, but I just think we got really deep, and there's guys who haven't even seen the field yet, like Rock Yassin, who's played a lot of football in this league. Isaac Yiadom is a guy who we still, Renardo ended up playing so well that he worked his way on the field. But Isaac Yiadom is a really good corner in this league. And, we've all seen Malik Mustafa back there at the safety position. Hufanga goes down and there's a void. But Malik is a guy that we liked in the draft process, has come in. And man, he's a force to be reckoned with on the field. I think he kind of keeps taking it. He gets a little better each week and shows us another element of his game. You see the physicality. You see, it looks like Buda Baker or Troy Polamalu to me in terms of just like, there's an old saying Mike Tomlin used to tell me all the time. He'd say, JL, take the grass. When you take the grass on people, they and you don't hesitate. They don't know what to do. You just kind of overwhelm them with your presence. And Malik has that ability. But then to see him the other night, he's intercepted the ball the other night in the back of the end zone. I thought that was a fantastic play in coverage, continuing to fight till the ball came out. So Malik has us very excited. I think Jair's raised his level of football. So we are very pleased with our secondary. We hope to get Huff, as we know him, Hufanga, back. We all know what a force he is. He's kind of working through the thumb, and can you play with a cast? Do we give him a little more time so that maybe he can have his fingers, instead of just a club out there? So all these kind of things that we're working through, but we do like where our secondary's at.
Talking to John Lynch, and obviously it's against the backdrop of the loss of Charvarius Ward's 1-year-old daughter, and it's just so sad. And John spoke eloquently about it, and our job is just to continue to talk about football. I do want to mention that John is sponsored by Fieldwork Brewing Company with 8 locations around Northern California. Fresh beer is always right around the corner. So with heavy hearts, we talk about the 49er team, and we turn to the story, and that's Christian McCaffrey. And I know, we've been sort of talking about him on and off since whenever, early August, but now it appears your head coach has said that you guys are going to start a practice sort of strategy for him. I wonder what you can tell us as 49er fans get very excited for the possibility of Christian McCaffrey's return. What's the plan this week, and what do you think? What is your ideal scenario going into Tampa Bay?
Well, the ideal scenario, versus Tampa Bay is that he continues to, we keep using this terminology, but ramp up, which just means increase the volume of work that he's doing. He's been doing that, and he hasn't had any setbacks. And so the hope is we take it up another notch this week, provided that goes well. We're kind of opening that window, allowing him to go back to practice. IR players can work to the side. They can't get involved in practice. And so Christian has been kind of on that plan. And now, that you hopefully that you increase the volume this week. You hope you have no setbacks. I'd expect it to kind of go that way. I pray that it goes that way because he's done really well. He hasn't had any of those. And if so, then Monday we hope to have him practicing with our team, and that'd be a really good deal for us. We all know he's the reigning offensive player of the year. He's a special game-changing player for us. Now, just opening his window doesn't mean he has to play. You have 3 weeks then in which he can activate him. So, we'll play this by ear. We'll listen to Christian. We'll listen to the experts, and hopefully, very soon he's back playing with us on the field. And then we got to be judicious about how much we use him. And that's a hard thing to do because he's so darn good. But, we have been, I guess, kind of buoyed by the fact that we have some depth there as well with JP Mason running the way he's run. I think the bye week comes at a good time for JP as well. Been dealing with the shoulder, and then Isaac Garindo, really showing that he's getting better each week. You see the explosive speed and power. So we've got some depth there that we can kind of manage Christian back into this thing, provided everything goes well, and just hoping that it continues to go well so we can see him back on the field here soon.
Well, that leads right into my question, John, and I'm going to ask it just to get some specifics, even though you answered it a bit. If the McCaffrey ramp-up goes without a hitch this week, practice goes without a hitch next week, you guys hit the field in Tampa, would he be on some sort of a snap count, or is it he's gone through these 2 weeks and he's ready to go and we're going to use Christian like we would normally, but it's different this year because you have guys that can spell him?
Yeah, I think with a guy like Christian, I think regardless whether we had guys that could spell him or not, he's, you do what's right for the player. That's what we'll always do. There's been a really good plan in place this whole time, and we're not there yet. We got to get there, but those things will start to be, okay, here's what he's done in practice. Here's how much volume, provided he's ready to play, that we feel like he can play. And then you're right, we do have the depth where we feel like we can do that, and it's certainly anytime. I think if you have Christian out there for 5 plays, you're a better team. Mm-hmm. There's a reason we put all that draft capital into trading for him, and I think it's been a good deal for us. I think everybody would say that. So we just want him back on the field, and we'll figure it out from there.
Yeah, we're talking to John Lynch, of course, on a Wednesday because of the bye week, and we'll let John, after a few more minutes, go to his bye week, which we'll enjoy, and we're talking about Christian McCaffrey's return, Rod.
So you're getting other guys back as well. Jawan Jennings is the first name that pops to my mind. I'm curious, with the trade deadline, John, coming up next week, does the prospect of getting players back off of the injured list, does that impact your decision-making in any way, shape, or form when it comes to making a trade?
Well, I think when you're looking at a trade deadline, we've taken advantage of it in a number of the years in which we've been there, and it's been really good to us. It's just got to be a fit, and you're always calling and receiving calls. This year is a little bit different in that we've had such I look at this list, and it's McCaffrey, Feliciano, Jennings, Greenlaw, right, Yetur Gross-Matos, Talanoa Hufanga. There's a lot of really good players that we can get back to strengthen this team, and we loved our team coming into the season. Not where we want to be. We're 4-4, but we've got a lot in front of us, and we're just going to take it week by week. And one thing this team has shown the ability under Kyle to do is get better throughout the course of the season and play our best ball when it matters most. And I do look at that injury list and say, hey, we got a chance. John Feliciano is another guy. We got a chance to get a lot of these guys back, and that can buoy our team. And that's as good as any trade we could make because these guys are familiar with what we do, how we do it. But in saying that, if something comes together, and nothing's imminent right now, I will tell everyone that. But if something does come together here, the trade deadline's on Election Day. Interesting how they did that. And
I know.
But if anything comes by then, that makes sense. It can make us a better football team, fits with our financial, position and all those things. Then we'll certainly pull the trigger. But I do like the list of guys. Jake Moody, I forgot to talk about our kicker. He's trending well, and there's a chance we have him for Tampa as well.
John, we're praying you make a trade so we have something to talk about the day after the election. Please, John, please. Just make a move, buddy. Just make a move. It's going to be a tough day, John. Wednesday the 6th. It's going to be a tough day. No matter what. I mean, that's any way it goes, it can be a tough day. Were you guys in on Deontay Johnson? There were multiple teams in. Were you guys in? He wound up in Baltimore.
No, we were not. Yeah, he ended up in Baltimore.
Yeah.
Good spot for him.
Yeah. Okay. I was just wondering if those trades were getting you itchy, like Uche to the Chiefs and Hopkins to the Chiefs, and is it making you twitch a little bit seeing these moves?
Well, I mean, it's like I said, that we've been able to do some good things at this time. There's some of the under the radar ones. Charles Omenihu turned into a really good one for us. Where you get a guy for a couple of years, and then the blockbuster ones. But last year, I think it was Chase Young and Randy Gregory that helped us. And so there's always something you can do, but it's not every year. I think we have kind of created this expectation that every year we're going to make 2 or 3 of these, and it's not always the case. So if it makes sense, we'll do it. But I do like the list of players we have coming back to us that will give us a little boost internally.
I do want to, of course, end the conversation on a positive note and wish you a great bye week. So I'll ask my last sort of negative question here, and this one to get you addled. How angry and pissed do you get when you guys don't put games away? I'm wondering, you're in the box. This is not what you want to see. And so what's your message to the coaching staff, to the team about finishing games?
I think each game has its own story. It has been a familiar theme, and it's frustrating because it's something we pride ourselves in how we operate, how we build our team. It's something we clearly have to continue to work on, and inevitably, when you go back, it always comes down to just the fundamental things. If you don't hurt yourself and you just execute. Sometimes it's a 2nd and 1. If you convert that, 4 more minutes go off the clock, and they just don't have that time. It's understanding the situation, and everyone says don't play prevent defense. I would say we were not in a prevent defense. No. Sometimes guys got overzealous to make a play, and we had linebackers jumping checkdowns and things opening up behind them. Mm-hmm. So it's always got its own story. At times it's been special teams. I was really proud of our special teams. Not perfect yet, but we took a big step in the right direction the other night against Dallas. And so if we continue just to improve, we've got finishers on this team, and we'll start to put people away. But that's going to be critical. We have to do that because, man, you can sit here and say we're 4-4. Well, we should be. No, you shouldn't be. You have to earn everything, and we didn't earn those. And if you allow people, the other teams are good too. If you allow them to stay in it, they will.
One of the fundamental football things you guys got better at against Dallas was tackling. There was a stretch there where you guys were missing double-digit tackles. Didn't see that against Dallas. I don't know what the numbers are, but just being at the game at my eye test, it seemed like you guys were much better at the basics and fundamentals of tackling than you had been in previous games.
Yeah, and I just realized I've been talking all this time, and one of our best tacklers on our team, Dre Greenlaw, I didn't even mention him, and maybe that's just because I'm just I got my fingers crossed so much that because you talk about another game changer. If we can get Dre back here, Dre's as good a tackler. There's so much of football now. Defensive football is, can you make plays in space? Offenses are getting really good at putting your players in space, and Dre's as good a space player, a physical player. He makes such a difference for us. He's been awesome in his recovery from this Achilles. He's getting closer, so that will help. But I think you're right, Rod. We pride ourselves on being a really good tackling team by getting there in numbers. And I thought early in that game, only one guy, I think 87, Ferguson, was eluding some tackles, but then he was carrying the ball loose as well. So I knew one would come out. I thought we were going to have it. We put it on the ground. It seemed like there were 3 of us, one of him, and he ended up getting it. But sometimes the ball doesn't always bounce. But I did feel like we tightened up our tackling. We started getting numbers to the ball and kind of overwhelmed them there. So that was a good thing.
All right, man. Well, listen, the big win over the Cowboys, it's funny, these moods go week to week. Go into a bye week with a win. They're tied for first in the NFC West, and it's all right there in front of you with McCaffrey possibly coming back. It's pretty darn good. So we'll let you go. Not to pry into your exact itinerary, but anything exciting going on in the bye week? Like San Diego, I'm guessing, or anything other than that?
No, we usually go somewhere just to kind of mentally recharge.
Yeah.
And Linda Lynch gave me a big pep talk how, we're empty nesters in 6 months. We got to finish the job. So we're staying here with our senior in high school daughter, and then we're finishing the job. So funny to do in the Bay Area.
That's like finishing. That's like finishing on the fourth quarter, right? You got to finish, right? Yeah. Right. There you go. All right. Well,
so fundamentals around the Lynch household.
There's a Warrior game tonight you guys can go to if you want to. So, but that's good stuff, man. All right, John. You're always a pleasant conversation. Go have a great time with the fam, and we will talk to you next week.
Okay, thanks, guys.
There he is. Yep, John Lynch on the Yuma guest line on KMBR 104.5 and 680, the Sports Leader.